You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Whoa! Okay. I'm ready. Welcome to Split Your Head, a bi-weekly podcast hosted by me, Bob, that covers the gamut of all things horror, exploitation, cult, underground, experimental, transgressive, bizarre, and indie. I've been fortunate enough to connect with some of the most groundbreaking and upcoming filmmakers, writers, and artists. Don't expect a typical interview. I love shooting the shit with my guests and stumbling on surprising topics that'll literally split our heads. From splatter comedies to nihilistic sleaze, uncomfortable art house to genre classics. If it gets my brain buzzing and cracking wide open like a watermelon full of blood, then I would like to share it with your ears. Now a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. Hi, Mom.
The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Frightmares Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for episode 389 is my good friend, Cory Johnson.
Heyo, everybody. It's my tiny purse gun. Where it goes, I goes.
You know what's hilarious about that is that my mother-in-law, who shall remain nameless, also has a gun she refers to as her purse gun.
Do you know how long this morning I spent running through just every quotable line of this movie to figure out what I was going to include on that? Because there were like 5 or 6 options that I had to go with.
There's a lot of good one-liners. Today on another installment of Julycanthropes Howl, we're discussing our modern pick, Werewolves Within, from 2021. A movie set in a town called Beaverfield, where everyone's hiding something, nobody trusts anyone, and somehow the werewolf is not the most unreasonable person in town. Let's roll into the cold open. Oh, man. I've recorded so many things back to back here that I don't know. Got plenty of stuff to talk about. Plenty of things. Plenty of things. Okay, so Cory, what have you? I mean, we already talked about Evil Dead Burn. That'll be a bonus episode on the YouTube towards the end of the month. But before we get to that, because I know we're gonna talk about it here. Is there anything else you've watched recently worth mentioning? Movies, television, whatever.
I'm currently watching Silo, and while it's not horror, it's sci-fi dystopian enough that the setting is like, ooh, that's pretty fucking horrific that there's 10,000 people in here. Like,
yeah, Rebecca Ferguson, right?
Rebecca Ferguson, Will Patton? Yeah, Will Patton.
Will Patton or Will Poulter?
No, Will Patton from Independence Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a really good cast. Rebecca Ferguson is, so I know her best from the Denis Villeneuve Dunes. So she is such a different character than Lady Jessica is. And the whole society, I'm hearkened just a little bit to Fallout, but I know it was a series of books, so it has nothing to do with the ideas of Fallout.
Right.
Underground bunker style, shit ton of people live in there. It does kind of feel like that, but there's way more like hardcore lore ideas about this one. It's a little less fantastical. But to give you a super brief setup that you find out in the first episode, so it's not even spoilers. All the people that are in the silo have been born into there. They have no information. So 140 years ago, there was an uprising in the silo, and a bunch of rebels tried to open the doors and let the poison in. I'm doing air quotes because I forgot we're on audio only. And in the process of that, all the books got destroyed and all the computer hard drives got destroyed. Ooh. So they have no information except for like what they call relics, and it's just like one of the relics is a Pez dispenser.
Oh, okay.
So, and then in the mayor's office, there's like the mayor's ledgers that go back 97 years. So not even the full 140. And then there's a whole mystery upon a mystery upon a mystery. Common is in it.
The rapper?
Yes. Well, actually, I think he might now have been an actor longer than he was a rapper.
Okay, Common was also, I think he was also in a movie that I recently watched because, what movie was that? John Wick Chapter 2, Suicide Squad. Oh, maybe it wasn't Common. There was a rapper in a movie I watched recently. Oh, God, that's going to drive me crazy. I'll figure it out. Continue.
And then Rashida Jones is in the first 2 episodes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really well done, as I am continuing to be blown away by Apple TV shows. And then I think Jessica and I have agreed that we're going to finish the first season, because there's 3 seasons so far.
There's another one on the way, right?
Yeah, with another one on the way, I think releasing early next year. I need to recheck that. And after we finish the first season, we're both going to go and watch Widow's Bay, because we've been hearing a really bunch of good shit about that. But yeah, and then Evil Dead, we talked about it, but I'll just say as like a sneak preview to that YouTube episode, it fucking awesome.
Fucking awesome. Real quick.
And unfortunately, Kyle hated it, but it'd be like that.
It'd be like that.
Maybe he and I can record a bonus episode to send to you.
Okay. Yeah, every movie is not going to be for everyone, but I am surprised to hear he like not only disliked it, but almost walked out.
He was like, yeah, I was in the last like 30 minutes and I was like, I could just get up and leave.
And I've come around on this movie quite a lot, actually, because of the commentary I think it's trying to convey is Halloween Kills. I remember me and Spencer and my wife were in that one, and we all looked at each other like, fuck this movie. Like, are we walking out of this movie? Like, I've come around on that one, and that's a whole different discussion for a different time. So let me get through what I've watched, and then we'll talk briefly about Evil Dead Burn, because we did do an entire episode on it. So I watched No Way Up for my cult movie challenge of Sharksploitation Week. What a shit movie. I mean,
can you exploit sharks? Is it sharksploitation? Like,
yeah. I mean, the exploitation has so many subgenres, and basically you can have any type of exploitation movie at this point. You just throw the sharksploitation, alligator exploitation. Yeah, it's basically a whole bunch of made up genres. It really is. But
fair enough.
So it was Shark Week. I was going to do Jaws 2, but I really wanted to revisit the original, and I was on a time crunch, and I wasn't going to just jump into a fucking sequel I had never seen. So then I was like, all right, let me go watch Deep Water. I got that sent to me from Alliance Entertainment, and I missed it in theaters, but the wife wanted to watch it with me, and I was like, oh, fuck, let me go find another movie. And I remember there being a movie with a very similar premise to Deep Water, and I found it. It's No Way Up. But instead of crashing in the water and trying to survive the surface, this movie, the plane goes underwater and hits they're not that far below the water, let's say 200-300 feet, and they hit the bottom of this rock, whatever, before there's a giant cliff. And for some reason, because I can only assume it's that thing that happens when you take a cup of water or a cup upside down and push it underwater and there's like the air still in there.
Yeah, it's the Pirates of the Caribbean boat scene.
I guess, but there's also a giant hole in the side of this plane. So whatever. Like, just get rid of logic and everything. But besides that, it was so bad because, I mean, we were really limited to the galley where...
Besides that, it was so bad.
But besides that, it was so bad. You're limited to the galley, or whatever you want to call it, where all of the flight attendants or stewardesses or however they want to be referred to as, I can't remember which is the politically correct one. I think it's flight attendants, where they go like make all the snacks and get all the stuff. Like, you're in about like a 9x6 area for most of the movie. Hardly any sharks. When the sharks appear, they're terrible. There's this one main character whose dad is a senator, and she has a bodyguard who knows way too much information about the intricacies of planes. It didn't even make any fucking sense. Truly a terrible... I mean, what do I expect with a premise like the, you know, what it says? 1 star, definitely not great. Next week's Cult Movie Challenge, which is technically probably this week. I think I'm behind, but I believe it's Dolph Lundgren week. Let me double check that here. Yes, it is Dolph Lundgren week, and I'm doing Dark Angel from 1990, so that'll be on the next episode. I'll probably have to catch up on a couple. Been watching the Harry Potter movies, introducing the kiddo to those, and then in preparation for Evil Dead Burn, because Bruce Campbell said, he was like, you might want to do your homework, or, you know, you might want to bone up on some things, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to watch all of them. They're 97 minutes or less. The first 2 are 82 to 84 minutes, so I was like, let me just knock all of these out.
And you can technically sort of kind of skip the first 15-20 minutes of 2 because it's just
a recap.
It's just the first 5 minutes and the last 10 minutes of Evil Dead 1. Yeah, so
I really want to make a cut where you play out the entirety of Evil Dead, and then when the camera comes flying through the house and hits Ash, it cuts to Evil Dead 2 where he's flying through the forest. I would love to make like a super cut.
I mean, you own them both, so you can do that.
I could do that, and then just have it go into Army of Darkness as well. Fuck it.
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
So I rewatched all of those. I mentioned this on our YouTube episode. I don't think this is necessarily a controversial take or a hot take, but in my opinion, Evil Dead has gotten better with every installment. So for example, Evil Dead the original 3.5, Evil Dead 2 has a 4, Evil Dead 2013 4.5, and then Evil Dead Rise has a 5. As of right now, Evil Dead Burn has a 4.5, and I think I'm gonna place it in between the 2013 version and Rise. But it has been almost a week, and I have not stopped thinking about this movie. Typically when that happens, I don't know, I usually raise my rating. The reason that Rise has such a high rating, for it, a multitude of reasons, but for some reason that's the one I can just throw on and have the best time with. And this one, you know, Burn is a little more mean-spirited, and that's fine. It
is very mean-spirited. We didn't mention that on our YouTube episode, so this will be a companion piece.
Yeah.
But no, it is very, very mean-spirited. And it's mean-spirited towards its characters, and it's mean-spirited toward its viewers.
Right. Everybody. No one's safe. But yeah, so I think the reason Rise, I love it so much, is because I can just throw it on. You have a good mix. It's just a good mix of everything. But I think Burn might raise to a 5, honestly, because again, I haven't stopped thinking about, no. I can't because of what I said on the YouTube episode. That's right. There's one reason that's keeping it from a 5.
Yeah.
That I don't want to spoil here because we spoil on the spoiler episode, but that's exactly why. So it'll stay at a 4.5. It's an incredible movie. We talked about this on the episode, the YouTube episode. It is probably I don't even want to say probably. I think it's the most consistent franchise because there hasn't been a bad one. Yes, my ratings are kind of all over the place, but there is no Evil Dead movie that has less than a 3.5 out of 5 for me. That is consistency. Let me tell you.
And even Army of Darkness has its place.
Yeah.
Are we going to pick it 9 times out of 10? No, but that 10th time, that movie fucking hits.
Yeah. Right now, as it stands for me, that one has a 3 out of 5. But a 3 out of 5 and a heart. Anything with a 3 or more, I consider to be a good movie. 3 stars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 3 stars is a good movie. 3.5 is great. 4 is like awesome. 4.5 masterpiece, and then 5 is like perfect. So they all have a good.
We're pretty. I mean, we're not critics, but we're pretty critical when it comes to our ratings nowadays.
Yeah,
because we've got so many under our belt, and I feel like we realized we were kind of flippant with our ratings in the beginning.
I have to go see, and I really need to go back and course correct a lot of my 2019 and 2020 ratings, because that was when I didn't have any sort of system for Letterboxd. Now I have a system where it's like, before it was just vibes. I was like, this is a 5-star movie, when I was like, no, it's really not.
At least you could get a year's worth of shows.
That's true.
Out of just taking our unlisted episodes and doing one movie a piece.
I think that's what we're going to do for year 10. I think what we're going to do is Frightmares season 1 redo, where we actually go back and pick movies that we haven't reviewed already and just do that for year 10 or maybe year 9, because I have a really big idea that might be better for like the 10th year, because going back and doing a whole bunch of movies we did our first year, there might be a lot of shitty movies, because we covered some wildly bad movies. Like what was that Bikini Girls and Dinosaurs or something?
Bikini Girls versus Dinosaurs. Yeah.
We can't do a whole episode on that.
I would love for us to try and revisit Ishtab if we could find it again.
Okay.
I would love to try and revisit something like Hooker with a Hacksaw.
Yeah. No, we could definitely do stuff like that. Trust me.
Fucking Tigers Are Not Afraid.
Oh yeah, because I remember not enjoying that one, but it has great ratings. So yeah, well,
we were also fucked up for that movie.
Oh, and speaking of being fucked up, the opposite of that, today, as of this recording, July 14th, I actually just picked up my 2-year chip from AA. I'll go ahead and show you right there. 2 years.
In post, we'll add some. Yeah, no, that's fucking nice.
Yeah. There we go. So yeah,
real fake leather there.
Yeah, real fake leather with a real fake gold coin. So yeah, I just picked up my.
Is there chocolate in it?
Oh God, I wish I could unwrap this and get chocolate. But no, yeah. So 2 years sober today, and yeah, that's the problem. That is why the first, in case we haven't said this 400 times, that's why like the first 3 seasons aren't available, because I was so fucking, I was drunk on every episode, rambling on about who knows fucking what
I was drunk on like a majority of the episodes,
and you don't even drink.
We've both since stopped drinking.
Yeah, so it's like, that's why those aren't available, because of who knows what I said. But yeah, so 2 years sober today, which is great. Other than that, I don't think I did watch one new movie for this year that I want to mention. It's called Red Riding. You can pretty much figure out what that's about. Just Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Very strange adaptation, though. 2.5 out of 5. If you want to watch it, it's streaming on Prime. It has a 3.0 out of 5 somehow. And it's not that it was bad. You know, it just wasn't good. It's one of those movies. It's like, I didn't like this, but I did not like this. 2.5. You know, like.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's not for me.
Yeah. Good production value, good acting, interesting story, just like, whatever. So, but with all that being said, let's move on to the body count. All right, so this is Werewolves Within from 2021, released on June 25th of that year in the U.S. as a limited run, and then it went to the internet July 2nd, so they got a little bit of money in there from theaters, probably because it was a video game adaptation. Rated R for some bloody violence, sexual references, and language throughout. We have no sex and nudity, moderate violence and gore, moderate profanity, mild alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and moderate frightening and intense scenes. Pretty tame horror movie, but still very, very good. Runtime of an hour and 37 minutes. Listed as a comedy, horror, mystery, thriller. Directed by Josh Rubin, and we're going to get into how awesome this man is. He also directed Scare Me, Hard Eyes, and apparently an upcoming Hard Eyes sequel in 2028, which I'm here for. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm here for it. Written by someone named Mishna Wolf. I shit you not. I feel like I feel like that's a made-up name that someone's hiding behind because there's no fucking way, because she only has one other writing credit for something called Wolf Like Me. So I don't know what's going on here. But she did 7.
Who knows?
She did 7 episodes of that show. Composed by Anna Drubik, who also composed Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Fear Street Part 3, 1666, and Barbarian. And then we have cinematography by Matt Wise. He only has 9 other credits for movies, but he has done the cinematography for an Imagine Dragons, 2 Taylor Swift, and a Billie Eilish music video. So that's very strange. Probably got paid some fucking money too.
I mean, David Lynch directed more music videos than he did
movies.
Fictions.
He directed more shorts than he did. Yeah. David Lynch has like 100+ credits, and he has literally only directed I think it's 12 or 13 actual full-length movies. It's insane. Edited by Brett W. Bachman, who also, I put a lot of his credits in here because this is insane. He also edited Mandy, Color Out of Space, The Vigil, Pig, The Toxic Avenger, Shelby Oaks, Companion, and Heart Eyes. That is a fucking...
That makes a lot of sense because the editing of this movie was fucking wild.
Yeah, what a career, dude. Starring Sam Richardson as Finn Wheeler. This man is probably known by literally everyone, but for completely different reasons, because he was on 20 episodes of Detroiters as Sam Duvet, 40 episodes of Veep as Richard Splett. I can't believe he was only on 5 episodes of I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, but he was more of a producer and writer on that show. And then he was even in 3 episodes of Ted Lasso as Edwin Akufo.
Which is where I know him from.
Right.
Because I'm not a huge Tim Robinson fan.
Which is fair. Like I said, he is for a very specific group of people. He's also done a ton of voice acting, but most of his movie works are kind of smaller roles. Then we have Milana Von Trube as Cecily Moore, our beloved AT&T girl, who was also in Project Hail Mary as Olesia Elikinha, and I have a very sad story to tell about her later, which I did not realize, but we're going to talk about it because men are gross and men need to stop. And that's going to be my PSA. George Basil is Marcus, hasn't done much work in movies, but has a lot more credits for episodic television. 1 episode here, 1 episode there. Sarah Burns is Gwen, and now this is kind of a deep cut, but she was also in I Love You Man as Haley. She was the girl that they were trying to get, not Seth Rogen, Jason Segel to date. Like, they were trying to hook up Haley and Jason Segel's character in I Love You Man, and she's just fucking hilarious. Michael Chernus is Pete Anderton, who was also in 19 episodes of Severance as Rick and Hale. Catherine Curtin as Janine Sherman. She was in 12 episodes of Stranger Things as Claudia Henderson. I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's Dustin's mom.
One of the moms? Okay, that's what it is. Wayne Duvall as Sam Parker, who was also in The Hunt as Dawn. His credit is literally Dawn, ? This is a very weird credit for that movie. And then the ever lovable Harvey Guillen, I think that's how you say his name, as Joachim Wolfson, but he is also known primarily for his work in What We Do in the Shadows as Gizmo. Yes, I know his name is Guillermo, but it's a running joke that Nandor always calls him Gizmo. He was in 61 episodes of that. Not in his top 4, which I find wild, but whatever. Estimated budget of NA, but it did gross nearly $1 million, $991.9K. Filmed in Woodstock and Phoenicia, New York. You can watch this on AMC Plus, Hulu, Shudder, and YouTube TV. The movies that came out around the same time broke my fucking brain because apparently Black Widow came out 5 years ago. The Tomorrow War,
Jesus.
yeah, but then the Tomorrow War, Jungle Cruise.
That's a great Tom Cruise movie if you haven't seen it.
The Tomorrow War,
yeah.
Jungle Cruise, Luca, Old, all of those make sense. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It 5 years ago. The French Dispatch, the 3 Fear Street movies, Pig, Escape Room Tournament of Champions, Red Sky, In the Heights, and then the Forever Purge. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's been 5 years since we got a Purge movie, and Ron's gone wrong. Those just, I can't make sense of it in my head that all of those were around the same time. It hurts my head. IMDb summary, a new awkward park ranger arrives in a small town and murder and havoc soon follows. The paranoid townsfolk soon suspect each other, but a devious, shape-shifting werewolf becomes their prime suspect. But who is it? Let's move on to the autopsy. All right, Cory, you said you very much enjoyed this. I'm very excited to hear your overall thoughts, so hit me with them.
My overall thoughts, first things first, the irreverence in this movie is borderline painful. It creeps right up to that line of being like, it's funny, but it's almost not funny. It satirizes satirical movies. Like, it's a satire of a satire. And it's almost too meta for it to work. But they segment it out just well enough to where it almost never feels cumbersome.
Okay. Very well said. So this was a first time watch for you, second time watch for me, but I literally didn't remember anything from it other than the fact that I enjoyed it. That was it. So my overall thoughts are, I think this is a very fun movie with just a wild cast of characters who all encompass a small town so perfectly, like how the community interacts with each other, the gossip, the arguments.
I live there. I live here right now.
This is my town. They filmed it in in this town. No, but it's so good, and it's such an underrated cast of people too. You have all of these actors and actresses who aren't huge, but they're not necessarily B-list actors, but you put them all together, and this is the movie you get, and it's fucking comedic gold.
The most crazy thing to me about this movie and why it ended up scoring what it did for me is every character on screen just commands the camera with whatever they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not normally you've got a lead and a support and a background, and there's layers to it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Josh Rubin said, hey, everyone's the main character when you're on camera. And they treated it like that because that's how he acts when he's on camera. So it works so well. Because without the main character, without fucking Marcus thinking he's the motherfucking main character, taping knives to his hands and saying he's going to pretend to be the werewolf just to steal a bunch of shit. Without that, his character is just annoying.
Yeah.
But he treats it like it's his fucking movie.
And that's... Because you're 100% right. Really, our main stars, I would say, are Sam Richardson and she's got a tough name.
Melina.
Yeah, Melina. Yeah, isn't it?
Milana.
And because she is the postwoman of the town, he is the new mayor or whatever the fuck he is. He's the new
ranger.
The ranger,
forest ranger.
Yeah. So really, there are two main characters, but you're right. Every time someone else steps on screen, they are the main character in that moment. They steal the scene. And even if it's in a group of people where everyone's there, every time someone speaks, they're just commanding they're commanding your attention in a way. And it's not like they're fighting for attention when they're all on screen. Everyone just has such a presence about them that when someone else speaks up, you're just like, I'm focused on you now. Okay, now it's so great.
It's because the characters are so big. They're such big characters. Like, this is the opposite of when I go, these are fucking paper thin characters.
Yeah.
No, these are big, giant characters, but for no real reason other than to be fucking weird.
And typically when you have such big characters with big personalities, they can, like I said, they can get in each other's way, but here it's perfection for me. Everyone works so well together, and I don't feel like anyone's trying to outdo the other person. They're all just hectic and chaotic in completely different ways. And Josh Rubin didn't write this, or unless he's hiding under the alias of Mishka Wolf. He only directed this, but regardless, the director has a hand in a lot of things with the movie. So I'd like to think that he had his hand, and I want everyone to be at like a 10. Like, I want everyone's intensity, and I want you
and he may not have written it, but writing is only 50% of what gets put on camera. The other 50% is that director going, hey, more.
Yeah, more.
Or, hey, do this way because I think it'll be funnier.
Yeah.
Or, let's explore that argument over there a little bit more. He comes from like an improv-y type background, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of those, all right, you've got a story and you've got a script bones. And then they go, all right, so you need to say this and you need to say this, but how you get there is your choice.
Well, that's interesting because I know Sam Richardson has a background in improv. Milana, ironically enough, also has a background in improv. Of course, Josh Rubin has a background in improv. And since we're on Josh Rubin, let's kind of talk about him because a lot of people, you might know him from directing Hard Eyes. And I remember when I told you, when we had talked about Hard Eyes and I told you who directed it, it blew your mind because of who it was. And then it blew my mind because I didn't know the name, but I knew the face from the game show. So we both...
Yeah, and I knew him from the game show because I know him from fucking College Humor back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like old school YouTube.
So Joshua Benjamin Rubin, full legal name, is an American actor, comedian, director, and producer. He formerly worked for College Humor, as you just mentioned, and continues to appear in Dropout original TV shows. Funny enough, though, he was unable to get an agent in his first years in New York City, so he worked as a film extra at Best Buy with his childhood friend, Sam Reich, who would go on to host those two shows that they do together. He formed the comedy group Dutch West, which makes sketch comedy videos for the internet, and thanks to his work with the group, College Humor hired him as a staffer, and then he wrote and directed hundreds of their original short videos. He appeared on the Dropout game show Game Changer and the spinoff Make Some Noise, both hosted by his childhood friend, Reich, and is credited as an...
It's actually Reich.
Reich, sorry. I see Reich and, Reich.
Yeah.
Reich, sorry. And is credited as an executive producer on the latter series. He then moved to LA in 2016. He actually drew from his College Humor 401k to write, produce, and direct Scare Me, which was his first movie he ever did, or directed, a comedy horror filmed in Copper Lake outside of Woodstock. Starring Josh Rubin and as an aspiring writer staying in a cabin in the woods. It premiered at 2020 Sundance Film Festival. And then his next film would be Werewolves Within, based on the video game, which was also shot in the same area. That premiered at Tribeca Fest in 2021, and then he'd go on to do Hard Eyes. So going back to Werewolves Within, it's like I said, it is based on a video game. It is a multiplayer social deduction VR game for the Oculus Rift, Windows, and PlayStation VR. It was developed by Red Storm Entertainment, published by Ubisoft, and released on December 6, 2016. The game is set in a medieval town or medieval fantasy town that is being attacked by a werewolf, and players are tasked to guess which of the townfolk is the werewolf in disguise in a mafia-style format. So the funniest thing is that the game exists to begin with, because it's just such a wild game. But there really isn't a story in the game. There's not like these iconic characters. There's not really even so much a setting as it is just this medieval era. So it's basically a mechanic, which means the filmmakers really had such an enormous freedom. And I think instead of trying to awkwardly adapt this movie or gameplay into a movie, which has doomed plenty of adaptations as we've seen, they were like, what if we just adapted the vibe of the game? You know?
And it was probably really easy, because all you got to do is, you don't even have to get the VR headsets. You can go to a place that has the VR headsets with the cast, and you go, hey, y'all, we're going to spend 8 hours playing this game. And then we're going to go film it. And because it really did feel at certain points like people who are not these people are doing the arguing for them. Like, as many times as Janine said, I didn't kill my husband, and then they go through the whole thing of how that rumor started and whatnot. It did feel very like, oh, I have to explain this, and I have to explain this in a way that sounds like a lie but is true to try and win the game.
Yeah.
But then they say, okay, but now be afraid of that. And that's how you get to the everybody taken over by fear. But it does feel very much like video game logic as to what's going on.
Yeah, because you have a huge feeling of distrust, second-guessing everyone, wondering who's lying, watching friendships collapse over accusations. I think the movie captures all of that without ever feeling obligated to recreate specific game mechanics. I mean, really, they just took the vibe of the game. I've never played it. I don't know.
Neither have I. Yeah. I don't have VR.
I don't know, like, the inner machinations of how it works, but essentially my speculation is it's such a rudimentary game that they just were taking the vibes and could really do, like, they had a lot of creative liberties that they could do with this video game adaptation, since it was so basic. It feels very akin to the Exit 8 adaptation that we got this year. Exit 8 is a very simple game. It's literally noticing anomalies. If you notice them, turn back. If you don't notice them, continue. And they made a fucking killer movie based off of that premise. So it's almost like the simpler the game, the more you have to do with a movie. And that's why Werewolves Within succeeds so well, because they just fucking went for it. And it makes sense. Like, I don't have to play the game to enjoy this movie at all.
Yeah.
Or at least I don't think I have to play. I haven't played the game, and I fucking love this movie. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that was so succinct. I
got nothing.
I had no response.
So yeah, and I think one of the greatest parts of this movie is, like I said, it's less interested in making a fan service about a video game and more about making a genuinely entertaining mystery, and that mystery is the driving force of this movie, because you're constantly trying to figure out who the fuck the werewolf is.
Oh yeah, and I even sent you a message. I was like, I'm calling this character at 44:49, and then when the reveal happened at the very end of the movie, I called that way too fucking early. But when the actual reveal happened, I sent you, oh, I was fucking wrong.
Yeah, when you time stamped it at 44 minutes, I was like, oh, brother, you've got about an hour left. That's way too early.
Yeah, well, I just based off Dr. Ellis's actions and the way she was fucking moving, and going off of the classic, the character who is seen the least is generally the greatest suspect. Yeah. That's why the butler always did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to be the one. She had to be the one. But she doesn't know that she's a werewolf, and that's why she's trying to figure it out. And then maybe they lead into, oh, let's try and
Yeah, because she's the one testing all the hair and stuff like that.
Yeah, because she's an environmentalist.
And it's like, oh, and eventually it's like inconclusive, and she's like, oh. But then
And did you know she's an environmentalist?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but did you know that she's the environmentalist that's staying here? They said that word so many goddamn times. I'm trying to do the bit.
Yes, sorry. I thought you were asking me a sincere question. I was like, yeah, I know. No, yeah. They had so many running bits in this movie that never got old. I never got tired of really any bit. I enjoyed them thoroughly. And yeah, so you're questioning who's what, who's this person, because that's the thing. It's like everyone's a suspect. You're suspicious of fucking basically everyone at one point or another, even if it's just for a second. You're like, it could be them, but then you're like, well, maybe it's them, and then it's the person.
Yeah, and they do such a sincere job of making you genuinely suspect everyone except, I would say everyone except Joaquin.
Yeah, I would say that too, because I guess probably because his last name is Wolfson, and that would have been way too on the nose.
Yeah, way too on the nose.
And even his husband has the same name of Wolfson, so it's like, yeah, let's not make the actual werewolf the person last name Wolfson. Too on the nose.
I do want to circle way back for just a brief moment because we forgot to mention one of the things that you and I both absolutely love in the opening of a movie.
Oh, text on screen.
Text on screen. And I was like, this is really interesting text on screen. And then it gave the person who it was quoting as Mr. Rogers, and I realized I was in for a movie that did not care about my time.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
It doesn't care about my time in the sense that they said, we're going to do what we're going to do, and you're most likely going to enjoy it. But if you don't, we're going to keep doing the bit. The bit will never end. The bit will go through this entire movie until the credits roll.
And they mentioned Mr. Rogers 3 separate outside of the fucking opening. They mentioned him 3 times.
That's what I'm saying. They do not care about your time because the movie's running regardless, and they're not gonna deviate from the path. Like, they set you on this path, and that's where the path is going. You may be able to look off to the side and see through the side quest window, but there is no side quest door. There is no subtext hallway.
Well, since we went back to the beginning, this is a perfect time for me to talk about the opening, because I did write the opening text down, and then I just forgot to mention it. So you have that opening text, and I said the same thing. I'm like, yeah, this is okay. And then it says Mr. Rogers, and I was like, Jesus Christ, okay, this is what we're doing. So one of the things that werewolf movies, in my opinion, need to do right off the bat is establish some sort of an attack. The 3 movies we reviewed this month have all done that. Silver Bullet starts off with a beheading. Fucking Wolfman starts off with the Wolfman killing someone. And in this one, it is a little different because it's an implied attack. You don't see the werewolf. You just see things. You get like noises. It's like something moving fast, branches snapping, and then this guy just gets pulled off screen. So it's not necessarily a full-blown attack, but it is implied, okay, well, there's the werewolf, and it's classic monster movie storytelling. Your imagination fills in the blanks, and whatever you're picturing is usually more frightening than whatever the visual effects would show us. And in a low-budget movie like this, I appreciate that they went for the simple idea of doing it this way, because by the time we actually get the reveal of the werewolf, that
werewolf costume fucking sucks.
Oh damn, you did not like it. Okay. All right.
But see, that's why I did like it.
Oh, okay.
It was so shitty that I was like, of course it's gonna be that shitty. Because why? With everything else that you've showed me in this movie, why else would it be something amazing? Of course, it's gonna be a wig and a mask and some paint on the skin and some fake teeth. Like, of course. Like, it's not gonna be some magnificent film-breaking transition. They didn't have the budget to go full CG.
Right.
Of course, it's a person in a suit, and of course, it's a cheap suit. That's what made it so fun.
Okay,
that's what made this character flying all the fuck around and just dodging axes with relative ease, because you could very much tell that they were throwing the foam versions with the way those things are whip spinning past her.
That's what I loved about the ending reveal, is because it takes place where the movie kind of started with Sam and Milana, and they're throwing axes, and it's that bar, which I always find it strange that people want, that it's legal for you to be able to just get drunk and throw axes. That sounds like a liability, but that's besides.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get drunk and throw guns, but...
They still do it. But yeah, that it kind of ends where it started, and the fucking werewolf is just like, there's one point where it lurches at the wall, then bounces off the wall, and I was like, that's funny. So the movie establishes it pretty quickly that something dangerous is out there. The mystery is not hypothetical. People are dying, and that creates tension before we meet our main characters. And I think, our main star gives a great performance in this horror movie. Finn Wheeler, played by Sam Richardson. He is one of those actors that somehow makes his kindness hilarious. Whether it's the, Detroiters, Veep, I Think You Should Leave. His comedy usually comes from like complete sincerity. And Finn is not trying to be funny. He's just an aggressively decent human being. And he's this new park ranger arriving in Beaverfield, hoping to make a good first impression, and instead walks into the most dysfunctional town imaginable. But you're also suspicious of him that he might be that's why you're kind of suspicious of him. New guy in town. Why wouldn't he be the werewolf? Like, it's gotta be him.
I am and in real life, I am deeply suspicious of people that I know grew up as not only PBS children, but PBS teens. Like, they lived in such a strict household that they were watching PBS until like 15.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucking weird, bro.
And like most horror protagonists become leaders because they're tougher than everyone else, and he becomes a leader because he's literally the only adult willing to listen to people and try to control the situation, because everyone else is just fucking screaming at each other.
He's also the only one that can form a coherent single train of thought sentence.
That's correct. That is correct. Everyone else is on some other fucking plane of existence. Like, he tries diplomacy. He's trying to avoid conflict. He assumes everyone can work together, which in this town is just fucking adorable. But he gives the movie its emotional center, because while everyone else is spiraling into paranoia, he keeps trying to believe people are fundamentally good, and his optimism becomes increasingly funnier the worse things get. And he is he's on fire in this movie. I think like you said, I know we said kind of everyone is a main character. Obviously, Sam Richardson is our main character, and he is such a good center for this movie. And I would like to see him in more starring roles, because typically he's in an episode here, an episode there, or he's writing or doing sketches or comedies. But like, he is so good in this. I love him.
Again, I go back to, I think the actors just might have been given more liberty than other directors would give them.
Right.
And that's why he's so good, because it seems like all the things that he's been in supporting ways,
right,
so that he could do the things that he wanted to do, because otherwise, like, you can't make the co-writer a main character, because then it gets samey bullshit if it's a show.
Right.
And he hasn't done a ton of like movies, so with a movie, yeah, you can put him center stage because he's only there for an hour and 45 minutes.
Right.
And like his bits get to be his bits. And it's not like I have to watch 9 days worth of this bit.
And not even just Sam is a highlight here. I mean, obviously, I think he's probably he's my favorite part. But like the casting is just, it's almost unfair. You have, like I said, you have Milana, who everyone's going to recognize from the AT&T spokesperson that the internet collectively became obsessed with. But something I didn't realize, right? So I had seen her in the commercials, and then I don't know where I saw it, but like she posted it was somewhere on the internet, and she posted a picture like in this dress with like, you know, it was a very not revealing dress, but you could like, I didn't realize how stacked this girl was, and I was like,
yeah, it's the infamous white dress photo.
Yeah,
like if you search her name, that photo comes up just because it comes up. It was on, I think it was on her social medias at one point.
Right.
And then it just got grabbed and assimilated by the internet.
Yeah. So,
and the men of the internet have taken to doing everything short of doxing this woman.
Yeah.
Because she happens to be
attractive.
Very attractive.
Well, yeah, because like, you know, you see her in the commercial. She's got obviously wearing a wig because it's long hair, and she's dressed like an AT&T worker. So when I had seen her, you know, in regular clothing, I wasn't like, oh, drooling over her, but I was like, damn, I was like, good for you. You look like you are beautiful. But
yeah, you make AT&T look not like AT&T.
Yeah, it's like she had just a sleeper, you know, what like Sally Hawkins is the same thing. You look at Sally Hawkins and you're like, you're very pretty. And then you see her in Shape of Water and you're like, Jesus Christ, like, wow, I did not realize how like you look incredible. So it's like, guys, you can comment a woman like on that a woman is pretty. Like it's not a big deal. Like, wow, you know, like this is a different side of you. I love the short hair. You look great. But to go as far as putting milk emojis underneath pictures of her and basically forcing her off of social media because everyone was being disgusting towards her. I
think that was one of the predominant factors of her getting switched out from the AT&T role.
It was.
It's because AT&T was like, we want attention, but we don't want that attention.
Right. So she actually stopped doing that for a few years and then came back in 2020 and was met with the same responses from people to where she actually did an Instagram live, like pleading with people, guys, like, you have to stop this. Like, I'm literally
leave me alone.
Like, have you not seen a girl with like, what is the big deal, guys? They're boobs. Get over them. And then even AT&T stepped in and was like, everyone, you have to stop this. We're turning off the comments. We're turning off this. She is a well-liked character in our commercials, and we're keeping her. Stop being disgusting.
She's fucking hilarious in this movie.
And that's where I was going with, is like, beyond the fact that she is incredibly attractive, she is incredibly talented. She is so fucking good in this movie and plays off of Sam Richardson so well.
Plays off everybody.
Everyone.
If there is a quote supporting character, it's her. Because her main character energy is she makes what everyone else is doing that much funnier. Like,
yeah,
even her slow grab and the face she was making when she was taking the knife from Sam, I was like, oh man, the tension is so thick, but at the same time, it's thick like room temp butter. Like it cuts easy.
It's a little mushy.
Like, you don't have to have a sharp knife to cut it, but it's there. The tension in this movie is humidity. It just sits on top of you. And it's kind of uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
all you really got to do is like put on the fan of comedy, and then it's not so bad anymore.
Yeah. And she's like the typical horror love interest. She's weird, she's quirky, she's a little socially awkward, and in the exact same wavelength as Finn, because like I said, I don't think he was socially awkward until he arrived in this town where everyone has no idea how to act. And watching them flirt is like surprisingly genuine because neither character is particularly smooth. I do like Milana though, because she's kind of just this aloof, mysterious person, and she's kind of just like whatever about things. I love her in this movie. She's fantastic, and she's actually like a well-established actress. She was acting before the AT&T stuff. She still continues to act. She actually directs a lot of the AT&T commercials now, so she's very well versed in the industry. She's not just an attractive girl that should only be fucking, what's the word I'm looking for, and antagonized online because she has big boobs. Like, guys, stop.
What's funny about her and the controversy and everything is in this movie, I think she is funniest when she has that ridiculously oversized postal coat on.
Yep.
Because she's just like like wobbling around, but still like super flighty at the same time.
Yeah.
And she's saying everything from under this big fucking hat, and the image of it, because you know, like, this is an oversized, like, this is not actually her uniform,
which comes into play later.
Comes into play later, but it feels like this got thrust upon her, which we find out later is not the case. But it just adds to the absurdity of what's going on, because you have this. She is a very small woman too.
Yeah.
So you have this very small, kind of slight woman in this big puffy, and then everybody else is at least dressed sort of normal except for Trish.
Yeah.
Because she's once Chachi gets got, she's just in that bathrobe for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. And that's what
she's my favorite character.
And that's what I love about her too, is she is in that, like, it's like instead of big guy in a little coat, it's like little girl in a big coat.
It's the exact other side of the coin to why Chris Farley was funny.
Right. Exactly. And she's great in this movie. And then when she's trying to flirt with Sam and she takes all that off and she's dancing around with the beers, and Sam is just like, oh, whoa, this is what you look like without this giant baggy mailman suit on.
And I personally think that was kind of a call to her, like, hey, that is my closure scene of that whole controversy that I have now put behind me.
Yeah, because this was filmed in 2020, right as she was either coming back to do the commercials or after she already had come back. But yeah, they don't dress her provocatively in this at all. This is a cold set movie. She's pretty much in big clothes the whole time, and that's perfectly okay. They don't need to sexualize her. There's no reason to. She's already had enough trouble with that, and people need to leave her the fuck alone. If you're one of the men that commented a milk emoji underneath a picture of her where she had cleavage, fucking, you're gross. Stop it. Get a fucking life, okay? My God.
And if you're one of our listeners now, you're not.
You're not.
I have banned you from listening to the show.
Ending on a couple other things I wanted to mention here is I do love the kind of bottle. It eventually turns into a bottle film where they're all locked inside the Beaverfield Inn. Great fucking name. Snowstorm is happening outside. All the not transformers, generators are down. There's no power. So now everybody's trapped in here, and it's like, okay, is the werewolf inside with us? Is it outside? And at one point they do actually say Werewolves Within, and then he pauses for a second and then he continues the sentence. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, it was real good.
But I mean, really, it's essentially at its core Clue, but instead of Tim Curry, it's a werewolf. You know,
and Clue is just essentially "And Then There Were None" by Agatha Christie.
Exactly. Because
it really does boil down to, like, this is the most old school style whodunit. Like even Joaquin says at one point, it's like one of those shitty dinner theaters, except I'm not having fun and I can't leave. Like it was so on the nose with that line. I was like, yeah, the fuck it is. Because I've been to sleuths in Orlando, and that shit sucks.
It's so bad.
But it's so much fun.
Yeah, because essentially, just like what you have with Clue, you have a collection of wildly eccentric personalities. Everyone has secrets. Everyone has motives. No one trusts each other. And then every death makes the remaining suspects look increasingly guilty. It's fucking Clue with the werewolves. Instead of Colonel Mustard, Mrs. Peacock, we get environmentalists, wealthy homeowners, survivalists, mail carriers, and eccentric locals. And then instead of wondering who used the candlestick, it's wondering who has the claws and all the fur. It's Clue. That's what it is. It's Werewolves Within Clue edition. That would be actually a fun edition of Clue to do.
It really would.
Werewolves
be.
edition.
Then it's just werewolves within the game, and we've gone full circle. So speaking of eccentric locals, who is your favorite eccentric local?
Oh man, it's gotta be the guy. I don't remember his name, but it's a guy who's way out in the middle of nowhere.
Emerson Flint.
Yeah, the guy that comes back to save the day. He's my favorite because he's in. I assumed it was him as the werewolf because, like you said, it's usually the person that you see very, very few, very limited screen time. We saw him one time.
The reason I knew it wasn't him is because when he gets introduced to us, he's decked out in all those furs with the big giant beard, and I'm like, of course he's not the werewolf. That is too on the nose.
No, was that him? I thought he got introduced when they opened the door and he was like doing something with the blade. Is that not?
No. So he gets introduced when Finn first meets Cecily because she's like, will you help me deliver this package to him? And then Finn gets a phone call from Charlotte and it's breaking up so he doesn't hear the warning that Emerson is heavily armed, and he comes around with the shotgun decked out in all the furs because he was out
and then
fur trapping.
And then there's a sign that he passes that says trespassers will be shot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to go with him though, just because he does come back to save the day, and I'm pretty sure he dies or he gets he smacks the werewolf in the head with a shovel, but then the werewolf gets up and I think attacks him. But he's the one that comes back and quotes Mr. Rogers at the end, and I was like, I fucking love this guy. This guy's my favorite. But I also really did I really enjoyed Sarah Burns as Gwen just because she had the most ridiculous energy, and then of course she gets does she get hit by no,
she gets shot.
Which, by the way, I wanted to mention that too. What is your favorite character before I mention that scene?
My homegirl Trish. She is just hysterical in the sense that she is suffering from manic hysteria the entire fucking movie. She's crazy with the soap bottle angels and the dog, and then the dog gets got, and she is just a wailing mess the entire rest of the movie until she kills Joaquin's husband with a maple syrup tap, which
that was great.
I thought that was one of the best kills of the movie, but she is just a fucking crazy person.
She's probably in psychosis, you know what I mean? She's after her dog dies, she's probably just slipped into psychosis. I mean,
she was crazy before that when she's walking up to Finn, she's like, I'm gonna get my craft store. She's just a fucking crazy mountain lady. God, she is Marcus is unhinged, but he's unhinged because he's a crazy methed out drug addict.
Yes.
Gwen's unhinged because she is attached to Marcus, and being around Marcus in any room for more than 5 minutes drives anyone insane.
That's fair.
He's the eldritch horror of the movie. Whatever the other dude's name is, Chuck Trish's husband, he's a fucking
nut job.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's weird. But man, Trish is the absolute most crazy person on screen at any given time, because she'll just be sitting there, and then Gwen was like, yeah, but you're sad about your dog, right? And she's like, oh, like just immediately flipping into hysterics at the drop of a hat.
She was
and
pretty
it
great.
is so dramatic.
Yeah, she is.
And I loved every second of it.
She's absolutely the most dramatic character on screen. We mentioned it real quick. I just wanted to mention how quickly the movie just devolves into chaos towards the end of the movie, right? Because after whatever his face is gets his hand ripped apart, then the person who you thought, Dr. Ellis, she commits suicide, which I didn't think she did. I think she got attacked.
No, Pete definitely killed her.
Or Pete definitely killed her. But yeah, it's claimed that she commits suicide. The boyfriend, I didn't have everybody's name written down.
Marcus.
Oh yeah, is it Marcus? Yeah, he gets flattened by a truck. Sarah gets shot in the face. Everything fucking spirals into like this spectacular chaos. And even the guy who was building the pipeline, I think it was Wayne Duvall or Wayne Duvall.
Pete.
Pete? Oh, Pete. Yeah, Pete Anderson. Fucking, he gets blown up with the huge explosion.
With the huge phallic gas monument.
And I love that they cut to the extreme wide shot of the forest, and it's just this explosion. I was fucking
with no sound, too.
I was
like, it falls under the same category of blowing up miniatures. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It was just the perfect little.
Yeah, boop. So there, you have that. I think the only thing I wanted to mention is, like the red herrings are all great because you anticipate, you expect it's someone, and then it's not, and then it's this person. And honestly, the only complaint I have is I don't have a complaint about this movie. Usually there's like pacing or visual effects or underdeveloped plot, but honestly, I have nothing. And that doesn't mean it's a 5-star movie automatically, but like I genuinely have zero complaints about this movie, which rarely happens.
Yeah, and my only complaint, and it's not even really a complaint, is what I said at the very top of the show, is that the irreverence is almost painful.
Right.
Like, there is one or two bits where I'm like, all right, if you don't stop it here, it's not funny anymore.
We're gonna really be.
And if I have to say that to a movie, it does. I'm not even gonna say it falters, but it does constrict the vibe ever so slightly. And it's not like it's not a huge detriment to the movie. It's just I ate way too much of that salty ass popcorn in the theater, and now my fingers are kind of swollen. Like, it's not going to hinder my day. It's just a little uncomfortable.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. My closing thoughts here are, I think, Werewolves Within is one of those rare horror comedies where I don't think either genre compromises the other. The comedy.
I honestly think it's a comedy horror.
Well, no, it's definitely a comedy horror. The comedy's funny. The mystery genuinely keeps you guessing. The horror delivers enough blood and tension to remind you there's real danger. It's a film that understands werewolves don't always need to represent trauma or curses or masculine rage. Sometimes they're just there, and we didn't even tell you the reveal of who it is. It's Milana.
It's Cecily the male. It's Cecily the male girl,
and they have a great explanation for that because the guy we see in the beginning in the film who died was the original mail carrier, and she just took over his spot, and that's why her.
Yeah, because for some reason, and I get they didn't reveal it because of the reveal at the end, but for some reason, everybody else is like very specifically like, oh, this is this person and this is what this person does. And then fucking Dave, Dave's dead. He got eaten alive and now he's frozen and a corpse. Okay. But they never explain, aside from being Janine's husband, what Dave does.
Yeah.
And I'm just now realizing that feels so wildly out of place for this movie that it was so out of place that I didn't even know it was out of place because it wasn't even on the radar.
Right.
Of why that was so strange.
It was so strange, but you don't really pick up on it until, after now, apparently. But yeah, I feel like this movie it's kind of like a cozy movie, even though it's so cold. It's witty. I feel like this is endlessly rewatchable. And I think perhaps the greatest achievement of this movie is proving that the best adaptation of a social deduction video game barely resembles the game at all. It just takes the vibes of the game and throws it into a movie, and everything they threw at the wall stuck, except for maybe the irreverent that you mentioned.
That wall is covered in pasta.
Yeah, the wall is covered in pasta, and you're like, fuck, I think we're ready. Like, we can sit down and sauce this pasta. So those are my closing thoughts. Anything closing for you before we wrap up here?
Nah, I go watch it. It's a good ass time. And I was super stoned, and it was even better.
Yeah, I can imagine. That would only make the experience better. So with that being said, let's go to the final cut. Finally, a werewolf movie with a good tagline here. A whodunit with teeth. Love it. Love it.
There we go.
The trivia on this was very strange because you can thumbs up and thumbs down the trivia, and the first three had almost as many thumbs downs as thumbs up, and then the last two had more thumbs downs than thumbs up. And I'm like, this is weird. So they're not even all that interesting, but I just want to know why everyone hates this. Principal photography began in February 2020, a month before the pandemic hit. I don't know. Are we just thumbs downing that because of the pandemic?
I think so.
In January 2020, it was announced Sam Richardson had joined the cast of the film and would serve as producer with Josh Rubin to direct. I don't know why we're thumbs downing that. Originally released by Ubisoft in December 16, it was announced that their Werewolves Within game was being developed as a feature in October 2018. Mishna Wolf was set to write the screenplay for the film, and Ubisoft Pictures would produce. Again, I don't know.
No, that's because Ubisoft is kind of in the gaming sphere universally like, you guys can go fuck off.
Oh, okay.
They're the ones that have been milking the same like 3 Assassin's Creed games for the past 10 years. Almost all of their games have the same mechanic of climb up this giant fucking thing to reveal the map, and yeah.
Okay.
And microtransactions, lots of microtransactions.
Okay. And then this one here, I don't know exactly what this word is, but Harvey Guillen has an affiliation with other creatures of Yore, Y-O-R-E.
Yeah. Like the tales of yore.
Okay.
Like the olden times.
Okay. He also stars in the popular television documentary What We Do in the Shadows. On that show, he plays Guillermo, a human familiar to a trio of vampires, most notably one vampire in particular, Nandor. This had like 45 dislikes and 38 likes. I don't understand. And then it was released in a limited release on June 25th, 2021, followed by a video on demand July 2nd, 2021 by IFC Films. More dislikes than likes. I don't know what's happening here. 3 goofs. After the opening attack, this is literally one of the petty, I know I say this a lot, but really, we're getting pettier as we go on. After the opening attack, a title card displays 29.5 days later. An attack occurs that night, exactly 30 days after the previous attack. Werewolves attack on the full moon, which is a 28-day cycle. That title card should have read 27.5 days later, the single flaw in an otherwise perfectly plausible film. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
So I will say, at one point in the movie, I did, just because I forgot it had said 29.5 days later.
Yeah.
Because I was really stoned. At one point, I was like, but wait, they only attack on a full moon. How is there a full moon 2 nights in a row? That's not how the moon works.
Fair. I mean,
I was very confused for like half a second, and then I was like, fuck it.
Here's another one that's really great. The inspection sticker on Finn's car is in the wrong place. The sticker is on the lower left part of the windshield on the driver's side. The movie is supposed to take place in Vermont, so the sticker should be just below the rear view mirror. Oh my God. And then this one's interesting. Parker re-enters the hotel wearing night vision goggles with a normal torch mounted on his crossbow. That would ruin his night vision. That's actually very accurate.
He was also using like just ever so past Vietnam era night vision. Like it was like 2 generations past Vietnam era.
Yeah.
Like it was like Desert Storm fucking night vision.
All right, so rated 6.10 on 6.0 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a 3.0 out of 5 on our scale for the Nightmare Index. Also a 3.0 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 86% on the tomato meter, and an 80% audience score. What did you give this, Corey?
I gave it a 4.
Fuck yes. I also gave it a 4, which not only means this is a Frightmare certified slap. We haven't had one of those since Godzilla. It's been a minute. But that also gives us a Nightmare Index of a 3.5. I forgot to include that on my list today, but a 3.5 should be somewhere around the let's see, the last episode we did was a 3.29 for the Wolfman. So we're probably sitting at about number 15 on the list, which is pretty good. I can deal with that.
Yeah, it's like halfway.
It's like halfway. I love it. Similar movies according to IMDb, we have Scare Me, The Wolf of Snow Hollow, Hard Eyes, Vicious Fun, and Werewolves 2024. Similar movies according to Letterboxd, we have Bodies, 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 The Wolf of Snow Hollow, The Blackening, Lake Placid, and The Babysitter. A wild amalgamation of movies. Let's do some funny reviews and get the fuck out of here. I couldn't find a lot because, again, everyone just wants to have 13 paragraphs to say, which
or they're in another language.
But how many do you have?
I've got 4.
I think I have 4 as well. And again, they're fine. So why don't you go first?
A half-star review from Blake Richards. Lily from AT&T and the guy who's not Tim Robinson from Detroiters team up to make one of the most unserious and ridiculous werewolf movies ever made. Oh, and it's bad.
I didn't get that from the 1-star rating. Or was that half-star?
That was a half-star.
Okay, since you did a half-star, I'll do a 1-star from Tim Brayton. Humor sure is subjective, isn't it?
Another half-star from Chloe. Joss Rubin, if you ever try to direct another movie, I will find the werewolf within me and hunt you down, or so help me God.
3 stars, No Heart from Lemon 710. A few Snickers, but no payday.
That's pretty fucking good.
All right.
That joke's funnier than the movie. A 5-star and a heart from Amanda. Balls, balls, balls.
That's right. I forgot the movie started with Sam Richardson and that fucking tape he was listening to, just shouting balls. Oh, God. 3.5 stars from Nomenclature. You might say all of these suspicious characters are unaware wolves. I do love it. I love a good pun.
A 5-star and a heart from Bren Grigori. Manic pixie, psychopathic, serial killer, lycanthrope, dream girl.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very apt description of her. 5 stars from Sam Hain, and fucking, I know it's pronounced Sawain. Shut up, I don't care.
Samhain.
Yeah. Whatever. I even pronounced it wrong. Yeah. 5 stars from that. Truly the hardest drop of a Mr. Rogers quote. Mr. Rogers will be so proud. Oh, man. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, Threads, and YouTube at Frightmares Podcast. Our email is stayspooky@outlook.com. If you want to follow me personally on Letterboxd, you can do that at Dr. Proctor, all one word. Corey, you are
Frightmares Cory.
Boo, yeah. If you'd like to expand your movie podcast listening, be sure to check out the Shameless Picture Show, the Dead-Eyed Millennial Film Club, and 1 Week Rental as well, and the vast library of someone's favorite productions. There is a podcast for you. Next week, Michael and I believe his wife Amanda, will be doing Ginger Snaps from 2000 as our international pick. I feel stupid saying this, but for some reason I didn't think Canada was international, since I know we're different countries, but we're still North America. We're connected. But really, it was almost impossible to find a movie from across the pond that was a werewolf movie that was attainable.
Not until Christmas of this year.
That's true. That's true. The only one I could find that I own is Wolf Guy from 1975, but it's not available anywhere, and even the Blu-ray is also out of print, so we couldn't do that one. So we're not really necessarily cheating with using a Canadian film. It is considered international.
Nah, they have a whole French territory. It's fine.
So if you'd like to watch that, if you haven't seen it already, it's on Pluto and Plex. So check it out. And until next week, guys, stay tuned. And
it's a beautiful day to stay spooky.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description